So pretty big release this week in video games, and as we stated, obviously, things are a little weird.
Wonky.
Our schedule's off, we're outside the studio. So we've been playing inFamous this week, but we're shooting early, so we haven't played probably as much of it as I know I would have liked, and I'm sure you guys agree. So maybe this will be, I've actually played many hours, but it's a very big game.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be sort of our initial impression, at least.
First 10 hours in, let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, I think I've actually spent more than that, but still haven't finished it, so take that with a grain of salt. Anyway, inFamous is the PS3 exclusive open world. It's basically a superhero game. You wake up after an explosion with the ability to use electricity in various ways. And the city has been destroyed, and you can roam about the city, and there's bands of kind of looks like mutated
Reapers.
Yeah, odd people around, and the city has become very violent, and so you get to use these electricity powers to re-establish power in various parts of the city. The game kind of alternates between the open world, leaping to the top of buildings and flying around and zipping across railroad lines, and then the below the surface, very platformy elements that where you reestablish the electricity in the city. And this is from Sucker Punch, who has very much platforming roots, having done the Sly Cooper games. So, Dan, this seems like a game you would really like.
It does seem that way, yeah. And I did really like the Sly Cooper games. And this really is much more of a reskinned Sly Cooper game. At least the last one was much more open worldy, the last Sly Cooper game. And this much more akin to the Sly Cooper games than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I didn't have more. I thought I should have had much more fun playing this game than I was having playing the game. I think that the games it's similar to, or it's very similar to Crackdown, and it's not nearly as fun as Crackdown. And I think, for me, Crackdown, Bionic Commando, and Mirror's Edge all do such an amazing job of creating the sensation of what the character is doing, and that feeling of exploration through, in Crackdown, those huge jumps, and Mirror's Edge, gliding through places, and in Bionic Commando, that swing. And I felt that way, and I could just roam around the world freely, just wanting to feel that way, and playing is so fun. And combat in some of those games was really inventive. Not Mirror's Edge, obviously. And in this game, it didn't feel that way. I just felt like I was spamming the X button to get up, and whereas in Crackdown, that was such a joyous experience trying to get vertical. Unlocking the power where you float helped a lot.
And I thought skimming along the rail.
Skimming along the rail definitely helped, because you could start to, just sort of chain.
And not just rails, but also
train tracks.
Lines.
Yeah, the lines.
Power lines.
Power lines.
Yeah. Absolutely, it helps, because you sort of use those to navigate. But ultimately, and combat is very arduous for me. Not as fun as some of the other games, combat-wise.
Interesting.
So. But, I mean, it's like kind of fun, but not I thought it was going to be all my favorite things wrapped into one.
Yeah.
So far, it's not.
What about you, Alexander?
Well, it's very interesting, because this game to me felt more like Force Unleashed than it did.
Well, there's certainly blue electricity and red electricity.
I think
very
Force.
Similar.
Yeah, evil's red, blue is good.
And that's a big point I didn't even mention when I was kind of introing the game, is that this game has a very big
karma system.
Good and evil, and you have different powers when you're good than when you are evil.
I actually really enjoyed this game. I'm sort of surprised that Dan didn't. I don't know why. We need to go to dinner or something so we can get connected on our vibes. The thing that I actually liked about this game was that I couldn't just pop up in some cool way up every building. That I almost felt that the part of the fun that I was having was, I know that I can't just jump from this building to that building. So my fun was, but I think I can jump from this building to that fire escape.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so then it was like, once I get to the fire escape, and literally in midair, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make the fire escape. I can definitely climb up that pipe, and then zipping over to the pipe. So it was almost more like, I had the fun puzzleness of not just, I know I can hit my button and jump so high that I get onto this thing. It was a little bit of a challenge of, and then it wasn't
like Assassin's Creed where you just push up and hold a button and
you watch him. No. It was like
there's areas where you definitely can't get up here.
Right,
you
exactly.
have to go around to another way.
You have to figure out how to do it.
Well,
and Crackdown.
I have to say though about Assassin's Creed where while that made things a little too easy, the animations were so fluid in Assassin's Creed
that it was satisfying watching.
Yeah, and this game, I don't know if you guys experienced, there's something in the way he moved up those things that was a little bit not pop. I don't know.
I would say it's not the level of Assassin's Creed, but I didn't have a problem with it per se.
But here's the other thing is that I think, because I had that initially when I would just spam X.
Yeah.
But if you don't spam X and you think about where am I going to shoot for, the animations actually chain together much better. Because I did have the same problem where you're just like sitting there and you're like X, 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 X. It was like, it was very jerky, but then when I was like, I'm gonna go to this and jump to that pipe and then go climb the pipe and then stand and then climb to that little ledge and then pull up, I started to see the animations getting together. And then also hanging and shooting the thing was really fun. So I actually had a really, really good time. This is probably the most fun that I've had in an open world game before. And it may be because this game allows you to be as linear as you want, very specifically, or as non-linear as you want. So what I ended up doing, the problem I have with these open world games is I don't know what the F I'm supposed to do at any time. And even when it's like, I get a phone call and it's like, hey, go do this, I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to be doing main mission or if that's like sidesies or what. With this game, you can go to the blue thing and that will continue along and you can just do all blue quests, which are the main quests. Yeah. Or along the way, I would literally be like, oh, but I want to get more XP because I want to increase this thing. I'm just going to stop and see what this thing was. And I thought the quest variations were actually really cool. I mean, some of the like, don't be seen while you got to follow the guy around and take the thing. The other one where you had to like, did you do the one where you had to take
I thought the don't be seen ones were a little annoying, but
they are but they are definitely annoying. Yeah. But then the like staying on the train and clearing the tracks and powering the train.
That was cool.
And then did you do the one where you had to get rid of the security system all along the wall? Oh my God! It was just a spelunking puzzle where you had to figure out how do I get to the thing and how do I stand enough and jump and.
It's cool.
So I had a blast. I was really sort of surprised because it was open world and usually not what I like.
I liked it too, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm excited to finish it. I think it's pretty clear that Sucker Punch were big fans of Crackdown.
Yeah. Oh.
It is Crackdown. I mean, to the point where you clear parts of the city and then those become
safe zones,
safe areas. Yeah. Exactly. And the rolling out of the powers feels very similar. I mean, it's just the light and dark element is the only thing different, and no driving. But boy, does it feel the same. And I agree with you that I think actually Crackdown's a better game. It sounds blasphemous to say because Crackdown didn't get a lot of street cred, a lot of hardcore gamer cred, and this game is for some reason, but I think Crackdown's a better made. The city itself is designed better. It is more varied and more interesting, just from a graphic design sense.
Yeah.
I was all excited when the new island opened up because I thought, oh, it's going to look so different from the island I was on, but it didn't really. Yeah. But that being said, I agree with you, Alex, that the missions themselves are really pretty cool, and there's a lot of different ones. There's one that I played where you have to escort a group of protesters, and instead of where most games you just arrive and there'd be a pack of protesters that you need to escort, this one they like recruited them from the streets and they would sort of assemble and join up with the parade as it was going along. It was cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very enjoyable, worthwhile game. It's going to give you a lot of value for your dollar because there's a lot to do and very lengthy main storyline and tons of side quests. So I think it's cool, but you kind of would you say not even buy it?
No. It's worthwhile, but it just doesn't touch any of the games that it's similar to that I think are.
You just wanted to be swinging around.
Better. Well, I definitely want to be swinging around, which is frustrating that I didn't have
fluidity.
But I wanted more fluidity. I wanted.
I agree.
Because I think all those things, like getting those things, it was the spelunking mission, as you just said. It was just like. I'm just doing it. There was no. It didn't create this wonderful sensation. I just like.
I'll create a wonderful sensation for you later.
Yeah.
Nah.